So what do we
Awesome.
have today?
Yeah, well, we have some more great questions here. First, our featured question. Do I need a 90th percentile salary to meet the EB1A high salary criterion?
Well, this is one of the favorite questions of people who would ask. In fact, this is the first question that everybody asks, that how much salary is good enough for EB1A. I think, we like to keep things in a very simple way. So I think this somehow intuitively this has evolved over a period that 90th percentile is a good salary. I mean, that's what it comes, that you should be based on your region, based on your SOC code, or based on the work that you are doing along with your peers. But in my view, you don't necessarily need to have your salary in the 90th percentile, Megan. I mean, it's not required for the purpose of EB1A because the statute does not say that anywhere.
Mhm.
And I have seen people even who may not fall into 90th percentile would, kind of get their EB1A approved. Now, what happens is 90th, the percentile is just one of the metrics for this high salary. There could be other potential metrics also, like how much more than the average you are in. That's
Right.
one factor that we are doing it. Now, there are certain sophisticated tools to calculate what is the value of, there is something called as human resource value, which I think some people in the program have kind of used it. Most of the companies are using it, mostly the tech companies, to kind of find the value of an employee to the company. So, for example, it could be like, Megan, what is the value to the Next League program? Is 3 million, 4 million, 5 million. Now, there is something called a Stephen Levis model actually. Now, people do have used that also to claim high salary criteria in terms of the value that you are bringing in by virtue of your expertise. So there are multiple metrics, you have to compare your salaries by virtue of your expertise. So there are various ways in which one can do that. And the USCIS will consider whether the salary is high relative to others in the field rather than focusing on a specific, metric of percentile. I hope
Mhm.
that answers the question.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Our next question is from an anonymous member. It says, hello, everyone. I have a question on the membership in a professional association's criterion for EB1A. I am self-preparing my petition. Can editorial board memberships in journals count towards this criterion, or does it typically count towards the judging criterion? Any input is highly appreciated. Thank you.
Wonderful. Um, you see, typically a membership would mean a membership. An editorial board would never be a membership. So I think that other option, what the gentleman is giving or a lady is giving, is it would rather fall into judging, because you're essentially, kind of judging the work of others.
Mhm.
But it might fulfill the criteria. But one thing I would just like to give a caution here, that one needs to go into little deeper here in terms of what is the, you know, intensity of your work in a way, that what is the impact factor of the journal that you are doing, what is the quality of the work, who are the people who are assessing, what is the feedback of your assessment. No, there are a lot of things one will need to do to kind of fulfill the totality also. Otherwise, I would not suggest this to go into membership, because this is not really a membership in technical sense.
Right. Great. Thanks. Next question. I'm exploring the possibility of applying for an EB1A green card based on the publication of a book. I primarily work in the IT field focusing on data science. I'm currently in the process of publishing a book. So I'm wondering, would this meet the criterion for EB1A?
Well, book writing, congratulations on your book. Actually, it's a good thing. But whether you are doing this solely because I heard Megan, you saying that I'm exploring the possibility of applying for EB1A based on the publication of this book, or this is the core activity then you're doing, then please remember, then you will, whether it is a self-published books would not hold substance. I mean, it would be just, kind of, feather in the cap, possibly based on the circulation figures. But if EB1A is being sought based on the book, then you need a more intensity in terms of who is using the book, who have been readers, what have been the reviews of the book, anybody recommended, what kind of book are we talking about. It's just an IT field is not a good thing. What is the problem? You see, whenever you write any book or kind of give any paper or write any article, one thing one always should keep in mind, that what is the problem that you are solving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And whether that problem exists, or are you creating that problem? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's another aspect here. I mean, you can't just go to AI tools using people have been using them. There are a lot of, I must say that, kind of AI tools that make you an author overnight.
Mm.
You just write a prompt and, your book is ready and ready to be published. Those things I would like to caution people also that this won't stand the scrutiny of EB1A. One really needs to be, kind of original. There needs to be some kind of a problem solving approach which has not been tried before or which has not been addressed.
Mhm.
Or maybe perhaps people are not aware. And then, of course, what is the impact of your work? You see, writing a book will not qualify you for EB1A, even if, but what is the impact of your work is going to be more important. So
Mhm.
wish you all the best. So I would just like to stick to this right now at the moment. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. Next question. Got an RFE, which stated that expert testament letters, evidence of 6 approved patents is not sufficient without verifiable, independent supporting evidence for original contribution. The expert testimonial letters, customers with whom my patents are implemented, and letters from the leaders in my company talk about the significance of these patents.
Okay. Now, if you have got an RFE which states that evidence of 6 approved patents is not sufficient without what's verifiable, independent supporting evidence. Now, this basically means I'm going to strongly suggest, because we have done that, many people in our program have been doing that who have had patents, is to get something called as a patent evaluation framework. Sometime back I did write an article in Forbes that did mention the structure of how a patent evaluation should be conducted. That's something is, I think, you could try doing that, or some kind of a expert testimony on your patent which is completely independent. So when they say verifiable, independent, you see, customers with whom the patents are implemented are not deemed to be an experts.
Mhm.
So somebody from an academic field or something has to give you a patent evaluation framework. Now, in addition to this, to top this up further, depending, I would assume that this is going under original contribution. Now, if this going under original, if it is not going under original contribution and you are just putting this as a critical role because you did this for your employer, then patent evaluation framework is good. It just
Mhm.
shows the criticality of it and you have done a wonderful job. But if you are doing something further, like let's say putting this, using this for the purpose of original contribution, then you may have to go a little step further to, kind of do some deeper analysis. I would just say that actually, Megan. Yeah.
Mhm. Got it. Yeah. So thank you for that in-depth response. The next question is, can industry cap subject H-1B holders be editorial board members for academic journals for strengthening their profile for EB1A?
Well, I think this is more of a strictly a legal question in terms of what you can do on your H1B and what you cannot do on your H1B. But cap subject H1B holders be editorial board members. So normally, as I said, this is not a legal advice, but the best thing that I can say and I would like to suggest is that if that falls within your job responsibility, uh, then definitely you can do it in terms of volunteering. That's number one. Number two is that any act of volunteering, to the best of my understanding, what USCIS would consider is that it should not be otherwise be a paid job.
Hmm.
For example, you cannot be volunteering as a product manager for Google. I mean, as simple as that, something like that. Otherwise it is a paid job. So it's a non-profit. Otherwise, they would have advertised and positioned that job as a non-profit, as a volunteer. Especially, you are not getting any remuneration out of it. It's a more act of expanding your knowledge or an act of benevolence that you're trying to do, that might do it. But I would still suggest that you consult your immigration attorney and or your employer to ensure that you are on the right side of the law.
Excellent. All right. Next up, will Biden's executive order on AI and emerging talent help increase approval rates for EB1A?
Oh, wonderful. I mean, this question is, you see, let's understand, with Biden's executive order on AI will not help approve the increase approve this thing, Ray. I mean, that is not the intention.
Right.
The intention is to attract talent from, to the US, people who can make a difference, who can make an impact in the field, and to attract the best talent from the world to the United States. That's the, kind of, if somebody is in the field which the executive order warrants or speaks about, and you are in the field, definitely you can connect your field of expertise to this as a national importance. I would just like to say that. I mean, it is not going to increase or decrease the EB1A approval rates per se. It has nothing to do with that, and help in a sense that is not intended.
Mhm.
That's not intended. So I would, yeah.
Got it. All
Let's
right.
take the last question, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, last question. How do patents help for EB1A if the patents do not have current usages or licenses, but the patents are approved and directly related to the field of endeavor?
Okay. Now, let's say your question is, how do patents help for EB1A if the patents do not have current usage or licenses, but the patents are approved directly related to the field of endeavor? I mean, it may not have any, except for the fact that you are just proving something that it is original, but then it has no significance.
Mhm.
You see, you don't get patent because you want EB1A. Let's understand. You get patent and you don't get EB1A because you have patent also. It's a both way around. So basically a patent is an, kind of a process that you have you want to capitalize as an intellectual property, and you want to preserve it so that nobody else can copy. Now, obviously, you can take a patent for anything, whatever you want. You can take a patent for cooking a nice omelette. You can take a patent for, anything that you want. But if it does not have an impact factor, it is not going to help you to do anything.
Mm.
I mean, it will just be a piece of paper. Let's be very honest about the truth here. And my advice to everybody has been that don't try to do things for the sake of, getting EB1A. Try to do things which are going to be much more, helpful in the long run. You genuinely would have done it.
Mhm.
So that is, I think, is much more helpful, because I think your intent to be honest and demonstrate ethical behavior is one of the most important things that I'm going to state this.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
thank you, Megan, for having meeting me and taking up these questions. So if anybody else has any questions in the future, please write to Megan or me, and we'll be happy to take them. And if you want to come to the show, please write to us. And if you want to join the Next League program, reach out to us and build up your profile, and we'll be happy to help you for your EB1A journey. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ranjeet.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any further questions or need personalized guidance, please reach out to us. We are here to help you every step of the way in your journey towards achieving your American dream. Let's connect and make it happen together.